Hey guys, thanks for watching. In today's look, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do this pinky kind of look with a hint of yellow in it, and then how to get this highlight. And also, I just want to say thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing to my videos. It's a new thing I'm trying to do, trying to get, into makeup a little bit more. Just in case anyone wants to know how I get these looks, you guys can go ahead and keep watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you all so much. I truly appreciate it. So just continue watching for this look. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and start with my Morphe S11 brush. And I'm going to use this to put on my soft ochre that I purchased from MAC as my base, and to also blend in the concealer that I put to carve out my eyebrows. And then I go ahead and repeat this process to the other eye as well, and I pat it out with my finger to blend it in. And then I use a Sephora mattifying powder kind of to just set the eyes, and I use one of my Morphe brushes to go ahead and blend that in completely, and I repeat that to the opposite eye as well. And then today I'm going to be using my Morphe palette, so I'm going to go ahead and start off at the outer portion of my eye to go ahead and start blending my first transition color. And then I am going to do a pink kind of look today, so I am going to start off with my E22 Morphe brush and pick up, I'm just going to be using really all these pinks right here, but I'm going to start off with the lighter pink just to go ahead and start that base color. And then I go ahead and continue to blend it in with that same brush, and then I also do pick up a little bit more as I go along to make sure that I'm building up the color that I desire. So then I did pick up a peachy color to go ahead and blend that in as well. Like I said, I don't want it too pink, but I do want a soft pink. So instead of it being all pink, I am just kind of picking up all these different colors and blending them in. And then I did pick up just a regular Morphe brush from my first eyebrow set that I ever had received. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick up this M210 brush and pick up the yellow shade. And I'm just going to pretty much just pack this on the lid. And again, you use as much as you want to build up the lid. Of course, I've dipped in a couple times. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to the other eye as well, the same process. Just pack on as much as you'd like until you get the color you desire. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my my S12 brush, and pick up a little darker shade of a pink and go ahead and put that on the outer portion of my eye. Just give it like a defined more look, a little bit deeper at the end, instead of it being light, to kind of make the yellow stand out a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and just blend that in throughout my entire lid. I did bring it in to my inner lid, but once I had most of the product on the outside. So then I just go ahead and dip into that color, the same color once again. And just again, you're building up the color you desire. You don't want to start off with too much product because then it won't blend out as easy. So you just want to get a little bit at a time and keep building up, and then you want to go ahead and pull in whatever excess powder or eyeshadow is on your brush, and go ahead and pull that into the inner portion of your eye. And for this look, you could really pick up any color that you'd like to put on the outside. You could have even went with a little more magenta color, but I was trying to keep it really simple. Just kind of, a Valentine's Day look you could use this for, even as a spring look. So then I go ahead and pick up the first, one of the first brushes I was using to go ahead and just blend it all in, make sure everything's even. You got enough product on there that you needed, not too much, just on the outer portion. And you also want to make sure that your whole eye is just blended, a really nice blend. Blending is key to eyeshadow. And then I go ahead and pick up a different brush, which is my E23 brush, one of my favorite blending brushes that I did mention in my last video. So I'm going to go ahead and just blend out my whole lid. And just make sure that everything is just well blended out. And then I repeat the same process to the next eye as well. And it's okay if you kind of, touch your different color, like for example in this video is my yellow. You can just go ahead and touch it up. And then I go ahead and grab a Morphe brush. This one came with my eyeshadow set. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up just a couple different colors here. And this color I'm going to focus on the outer corner of my eye, again to deepen the look, to give it more of a definition. And just place it here in the inner part, and then go ahead and blend that in, and also drag it into the crease a little bit, but not too far in. You don't want to put too much product on the inside as it kind of fades away. So I go ahead and do the same thing to the other eye, just gently rub it all in, blend it out. And then I do pick up my other my other Morphe brush. And I just go ahead and blend that all out. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick up the peachy color. I'm going to go ahead and put this just on top. I just picked up a little bit, just on top of the entire, the overall color that we just did. Only to like not make it so harsh of a pink or so bright as a pink, to kind of just lighten it out and to make sure that everything blended well. It's kind of like a transition color to just put on top. I like to do this just to blend, to make sure my entire lid is blended out with the lighter color of whatever color that we're using at that time. So I go ahead and just blend the entire thing out. And you could see that, you could see your outer pink being a little bit more vibrant than the overall color, which is exactly what I wanted. It was the look I was going for. And then I go ahead and pick up just the remaining excess product that was on the brush, and go ahead and just redefine it to make sure that it's still a little bit vibrant even though you blended it out. And then I do again pick up the remaining products on my brush, and I do reapply the yellow on here just to make sure that it is still there and it stands out. And then I go ahead and pick up this glitter that I applied on top of the lid. You could blend it out, it doesn't have to just be right here on the inner portion of my eye, on my lid. You can blend it out over your entire lid. I just didn't want it to be too bright, but I didn't want to make an all pink look either. So I just tried to give it more of a summery vibe. And I go ahead and do that to the, my opposite eye as well, and just keep blending it. Even with the brush, if you just kind of pick it up in light circular motions, you can kind of just blend it out. And I'm going to go ahead and use my Sephora eyeliner. This is one of my favorite eyeliners by far. It has such a, like, I don't want to say velvet-like, but such a soft brush that it's just so easy. I honestly, I'm not going to lie, I'm horrible at eyeliner. This is why I do this step. This is one of my tricks that I use. I get this angled e.l.f. brush. This is just e.l.f. just because I only use it for this. And I go ahead and even out my eyeliner to make the overall wing. So like I said, I'm not very good at it. I've never been good at it. I'm still practicing, but I do also use this, and I do recommend this step for people who need a little bit of help with their eyeliner. And then I just picked up some eyelashes that I just bought. They were my first ones that I was trying on Amazon. So I go ahead and put on some mascara using my this is a thing of Voluminous from L'Oreal, I think, one of their new Big Shot ones. And I go ahead and just place these eyelashes on, and then I go ahead and prep my other eye while my other eyelash is drying, and then pick up the second eyelash and put it on top. Like I said, these eyelashes were just a random pair that I had bought. I looked them up on Amazon before I started buying the ones from House of Lashes and Violet Voss. And then I go ahead and pick up my Smashbox primer. I do have dry skin, so I do get the hydrating one. And then I'm going to go ahead today and use a Makeup Forever foundation with the Sephora brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply that all over my face. Like I said before, I do like using a brush at first just to make sure I get an even layer around my entire face, and to make sure I get like those tricky areas around your nose and in between your eyebrows, just to make sure it's all even throughout. And then I get my beauty blender and I go ahead and blend everything out together to make sure it's all buffed out. And then I go ahead and grab my Maybelline concealer, and I go ahead and put that under my eye. I do put my Urban Decay, it's a lighter shade than this one. I have to see what shade it is, but it's a lighter shade than this one, just a little bit on top of exactly what I did. That's, it looks a little bit more brighter here. And then I go ahead and blend that out just to make sure it's not only concealing under my eyes and these areas, but it's also brightening it as well. So I go ahead and just get one of these beauty blenders and blend everything out under my eye, make sure that nothing's creasing yet. And then I go ahead and pick up my Airspun translucent powder, And I apply that with a Real Technique little blending sponge. And I put that all under my eye. I do set my entire face just to make sure. I'm not, like I said, I do have dry skin, but I do this step just because I don't want it to, I don't like dewy at all. So for those of you who either have really oily skin or don't like the dewiness, I do recommend this step. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my LA Girl concealers and a little bit of contour on my face. I do use a darker shade and then a lighter shade just to make sure it's not too dark. The first color is a little too light for me, so that's why I picked up a darker shade. Then I just use my e.l.f. spittle brush. Go ahead and blend all these things out on your focal areas, your temples of your face, and then under your cheekbone. And then get a little beauty blender as well and blend everything out. Blending for contour is really key. You have to go, like, this doesn't just take me the length of this video. It takes me a while to make sure everything's completely blended and to make sure both sides of your face is evened out. So that's why I stopped the video a little bit so you could see the difference on how harsh the lines come out. And then I go ahead and just use this NYX product, and I use a Morphe brush to apply bronzer. I haven't found a bronzer I actually love yet, so this one so far has just been working for me. And then I go ahead and pick up just this e.l.f. brush to just kind of blend it all in and make sure that the bronzing isn't too harsh. And then I get this Wet n Wild. This is one of my favorite. It's kind of, you can use it as a highlighter, but I do put it over my bronze because I don't normally like to use blush, but for these videos I have been using some blush just to kind of put an overall look together. So for example, this Tarte one, this was just a sample I think that I got as a birthday gift through Sephora, so that's the only reason why I've been using it. And just go ahead and apply it on your cheekbones. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of blush, so I don't always use it, but I'm trying to see how this works out for me. And then I go ahead and get this brush from Morphe, and I just pretty much wipe away all the excess translucent powder under my eye. And I do rub it out throughout my face because I did set my entire face, so just to make sure any loose powder does come off of my face. But then I also use it to carve my cheekbones. I know some people bake under their cheeks. For me and my skin, it works, but it leaves my line a little too harsh. So I like to just use the brush and kind of just repeat this step over and over to make sure it comes out straight. And then I go ahead and set my face before I put any powder on. And I use my brush to kind of just damp it to make sure it gets in my skin. And then I go ahead and use my Sephora compact. You don't really need compact all the time, so I just get the Sephora brown instead of buying a higher end quality one, just because I only put it on the areas that aren't using my translucent powder with, to kind of just make sure everything's blended. And then I go ahead and pick up my highlighter, like I said, that I got from a fashion store. This is one when I first started using makeup, but it actually works really good. Just with this alone, you could see some highlight, but I do like to go on top with my ColourPop color, because this color, if you could see, I slowed it down. You could just see the difference between the two and how it sparkles more. This one's really sparkly. And I do use 3 different highlighters. I do use a little bit though of each of them. I don't use the same amount for all of them. And then I go ahead and get this eyeshadow that I have from e.l.f. and to highlight under my eyebrows. You guys can apply this under your eyebrows to give it an overall glow. I just do it to blend it out. And then I do pick up the same colors that I was using for my eye to put on the bottom eyelid. I'm sorry, not eyelid, under my eye for the bottom lash line. And then I get my Carly Bible palette and I go ahead and highlight around my lips, on my nose a little bit. I'm not really big on that. And then I go ahead and try to choose a lipstick I'm going to use today. I didn't overall like this color that I chose for lipstick. I'm not a big lipstick person at all. So majority of the time, if I ever use lipstick in my video, I take it off right after because I just don't like dealing with the whole having to make sure it looks nice and to touch it up. But that's why the color came out. And I did apply just a regular gloss, any kind of gloss on top of it, because I didn't like how matte ColourPop dries. It gets a little too matte for my lips. And so then I go ahead and just show you guys how I got my waves in my hair. Nothing fancy. I just use a straightener that you can pick up at Walmart for like $25. It's like from Conair. It's one of my favorites. Just wave out my hair a little bit. And then this is an overall final look for you guys. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.